Good evening, y'all, and welcome to video night number 5. I'm your host, Spathon, and I have 35, maybe 40 videos lined up for tonight, most of them political in nature, but some that are not, so I'm just going to jump right in. Cory Booker, many Americans need to secure health insurance now for next year, but are finding they cannot afford it. Trump and the Republicans are refusing to lower prices. Healthcare premiums rising thanks to the Republicans. Let's see what this lady has to say.
So this past year,
Holy crap.
we were paying, I thought already, an obscene amount of money, like $700 some dollars. And the plan is $1,259 a month.
We just
$1,259 a month. That's actually not too bad given your age, lady. I signed up. I didn't actually get Obamacare, but I got a quote for Obamacare about 10 years ago. It was roughly 2015. I was in my early 30s at the time, and I chose the Platinum plan just to get an idea as to how much it was going to cost. They quoted me $1,400 a month, and this was a decade ago.
got our benefits for next year. What I'm currently paying $240 every 2 weeks for is going up to $709 every
Thank your local Democrat.
2 weeks.
Call
How
Chucky
can I
Cuck
possibly
Schumer.
survive paying $1,500 just in medical coverage?
You can't.
Mine went up $230
You got to drop it.
a month.
You got to find it elsewhere, I guess.
Don't think I can pay that. I might be having to go without health insurance.
I just logged
Yeah,
in
unfortunately.
to our health insurance to see what, if we stay on the same plan, what our premium is going to be for 2026. $1,208.91 a month. I don't know if we can keep our heads above water next year.
No, probably not.
Today.
Look, dude, everybody, record credit card debt, record auto loan debt, the average mortgage, if you get a new house or you know what I mean? Like if you're buying a house, it's what, like $2,800 a month. The homeowner's insurance is the highest it's ever been. Car insurance is the highest that it's ever been. Gas prices, yeah, they're okay, but they're not that great. I mean, come on, let's be honest with that. Food prices have gone up 30% since COVID started. Yeah, the middle class ain't doing too well. We're not doing too well. Regardless of Trump saying that the economy is full steam ahead. Yeah, it is for some, but for most of us, it really isn't. We're really struggling. And Democrats are not doing any service to anybody by allowing Obamacare to continue, trying to kick this can down the road. It's
from
fucking
the
bullshit.
marketplace that instead of paying $650 a month for health insurance for my son and me, I'm now going to be paying, with my current plan, $1,151 and some cents per month for my monthly premium. This is why Democrats haven't signed the bill. This is why they're refusing to sign, because they knew that people like me were going to see our health insurance premiums double.
No, this is how much your health insurance actually costs. When you don't add subsidies, you get the real number. This is how much you actually have to be paying. Otherwise, you're going to take money from your fellow taxpayers to artificially make it lower.
Without the subsidies, the premium tax credits.
Yep, can't do that forever, lady. Can't do it forever. Thank your Democrats. The Democrats were the ones who allowed the health insurance industry to get absolutely brutally insane. Because before Obamacare, we actually had pretty good health insurance. Hell of a lot better than it is today. Okay, so moving on to Derek Evans. This was just posted on Charlie Kirk's Facebook page with over 10 million followers. Charlie Kirk, quote, "In Islam, in the verses, you are allowed to lie. You are allowed to deceive in front of God as long as it advances the aims and goals of Islam." Oh, uh-oh.
In the verses, you are allowed to lie. You are allowed to deceive in front of God as long as it advances the aims and goals of Islam. Foreign concept to those of us as Christians. Because what is the ultimate value claim of Christianity? It is truth. Because our Lord and Savior is truth, and truth became flesh. At the top of all of it, it is truth. In Islam, it is not truth. Truth is not the ultimate Islamic value. It's not. It's power. It's domination.
Yeah, man.
Subjugation.
Do it to others,
conquer,
man.
Conquest.
Don't lie to people.
We are called to make disciples of all nations by winning them over, by converting them with songs, praise, teaching, scripture, prayer. Islam is taking over by force. There's a reason why it is a religion of the sword,
In the name of power. God bless Charlie Kirk. So let me just take this and just see. In Islam. All right, let me do this. Let's go over here to Grok. Are you and I will come back to that just out of curiosity, just out of curiosity, just to see what Grok's going to say about it. Because, you know, like there's people out there that constantly pushing back against Charlie Kirk. He's not telling the truth about anything. All right, anyway, so this comes from Jennifer. Megan McGlover is not having any of it. These guys have no idea how much women are over you guys being in our bathrooms. I'm going to tell you one thing. You'll be a lot safer in the man's room. I wouldn't want to mess with Megan. Get her on X.
Okay, so I have a PSA.
Oh, she's on Instagram.
Okay, so I am a woman. Okay, uterus, cooch, ovaries, whole nine. Okay, so I am a woman. Okay?
Right.
And I'm telling you, we don't want y'all asses in our bathroom.
I don't blame it.
I don't give a damn if you feel like a woman, if you've always felt like a woman, if you think you're a woman, if you think you look like a woman, if you're feminine, if you act more like a woman than women do, and all this other shit. I'm telling you what it is, ho. We do not want your asses, your dick, your beans,
your man asses,
your balls, testicles.
Your balls.
We don't want y'all in our bathroom. Okay? You understand what I'm telling you? I don't care how you feel. I don't care what
fuck
you
your feelings.
think. I don't care about human rights, civil rights, rights of transition, of transformation, whatever it is.
We don't live in the Matrix. We live in the real world.
Asses out of women's spaces. That's it.
And what's wild is she's got the septum piercing. That is an obvious indication that she's on the left.
Stop discussing it. Okay? It's not up for discussion. Do not go into the woman's bathroom. Okay? Now that's it. All right? Okay? Just take your ass into the all-gender bathroom or the men's bathroom. Or go pee in the bush, huh? We don't give a damn.
Shit.
Just don't bring your ass into the woman's bathroom.
Hey, she said it, not me.
Okay, fantastic. Now, on another note, this is for Kamala. This Mundani fella, whatever his name is, that just won the mayorship of New York, he proved that you could have just ran as an Indian. See? You didn't have to lie and tell people you were black. You could have put a red dot on your head and everything. See, stop
fucking
lying.
Identity politics.
If you stopped lying, you probably would have got a little further. See? He
Probably.
proved to you that you can have your Indian flag and your Indian mama and wear dresses, cross, half scarves and stuff and all of that. You could have done that and ate your curry and everything. It would have been just fine. Stop lying, whore. Just run as an Indian. So if you decide to come on in 2028 and run again, just tell the people that you're an Indian, okay? Do us all a favor.
Oh, wow. Well, just by sheer coincidence, I made chicken tikka masala from scratch tonight. That's what I made for dinner. Yeah, do you think she voted for Kamala Harris? Probably. But yeah, I mean, that was a hell of a rant. Good for her. Rita Jo Velez, good work, officers. Good job, officers. Stay safe. Take a look. What the fuck is wrong with that lady, dude? Fucking idiot.
Get back! Get back!
The dude that she pushed away, that second lady, she went hands-on with them. That's assaulting an officer. Federal agent that gets, well, it did say police, but if that's a federal agent, that could carry up to a 20-year prison sentence. Paul A. Cispula, student at the University of Oklahoma, tramples over multiple Turning Point USA signs. She's confronted about it and is too much of a coward to respond or apologize. Of course, she needs to be expelled. I hope she was expelled. This, by the way, November 7th.
The actual... Excuse me, can you not do that, please? Really? Why are you doing this to our signs? Why do you think you can touch our signs?
Yeah,
that
put
is
her
just
on
despicable
blast.
Behavior. That is despicable. Would you like
Brain
to
dead.
apologize to the camera? You wouldn't like to do that. So, could you explain why you trampled on our signs, please?
I mean, do these brain dead retards not realize that they're going to be put on blast? that she's going to be all over the internet. Look, I don't know how many likes this got. 20,000 likes. I mean, that's a hell of a start. That's a pretty damn good start. And her stupid ass probably did get expelled, too. I bet she did.
We have freedom of speech
Good.
as you do.
Code hot dog. $5
Exactly.
off our checkout. Winter walk tomorrow. Be there.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
That's not freedom of speech. You can't talk? Are you embarrassed? Okay, what's your name? Why don't you identify yourself? You don't know your name? Yeah? But you can't talk? It's okay, we just needed your face to get facial recognition.
got her face all over. It's over, lady. Okay, let's move on to John Strand. Wow, Stephen M. goes off. Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, Monaco all conspired together to sabotage the democratic institutions of this country. I cannot find words harsh enough to condemn the conduct of these conspirators. These insurrectionists. Our enemies are domestic. Yeah, dude, Stephen Miller goes off constantly, dude. This dude is a beast.
Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, Monaco, all conspired together, all worked together to try to sabotage, undermine, unravel the democratic institutions and structures of this country. The Russiagate hoax, the Russiagate conspiracy, and all of the assaults against our liberties that went with it. The pre-dawn raids, the handcuffing of innocent Americans, the espionage against President Trump's campaign and staff, the removal of his national security advisor, one fake indictment, one fake charge after another, the special counsel, all of it was a unrelenting attempt to overthrow the government the American people voted for. I cannot find words harsh enough to condemn the conduct of these conspirators, these insurrectionists.
Amen, brother. Could you imagine if Stephen Miller debated Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries? His head would explode. That would be absolutely epic. So check this out. When fashion had real personality, the 1970s in New York City. Let's take a look at this. That would have been a wild time, man. That would have been amazing. Reminds me of Taxi Driver. That's a good movie. It did look dirty, look dingy and dirty. Crime-ridden. Wasn't when there were a lot of crime in the 70s in New York City. It was like some of the worst periods of crime in New York City's history or something like that. When life was more about guitars on the beach than parties and clubs. A 1970s rewind. Life in Goa in the 1970s. That's cool, man. I wonder if there's just this massive library somewhere with just endless amounts of stock footage from the 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm sure there is. I don't know, maybe I don't know if they pulled all that from like the National Archives or something like that. But there's got to be some massive library somewhere that's got all of that footage. We cannot hate the Democrats. This is from MAGA X Times Daily News. Norm Eisen, Mark Elias, and their labyrinth of activists cosplaying judges enough are like an infestation of rats we found attacking our wheel of cheese. The wheel is trash and PETA will not let us exterminate for entertainment purposes only. They block Trump's executive orders and then call him a liar for not fixing things as quickly as he said he would. Donald Trump told.
Donald Trump
Stupidity.
told us exactly what his plan was during his campaign. The majority of the American population agreed with his plan and voted for him. And so far, in less than a year, Donald Trump has already signed 212 executive orders. Every single
Without
one
an
of
auto
those
pen.
executive orders lines up perfectly with what the people voted for. Out of the 212 executive orders that Donald Trump signed, 118 of them have either been partially or fully blocked by Democrats and Democrat judges, meaning...
I wonder what that ratio would be if it's Obama or if it's Biden with regard to federal judges blocking it. I bet it's probably next to none.
That Donald Trump has only been able to successfully execute less than half of his plan. And then you have Democrats out here calling him a liar because he's not executing his plan as quickly as he said he would. These knuckleheads are upset about the fact that grocery prices haven't come down quick enough. They complain that the gas prices
most of them aren't going to at all, probably.
And basically anything else that can make Donald Trump look bad. But when Donald Trump signs an executive order to fix those problems, the same people that were complaining about them then take him to court. They sue him to block the executive order that fixes the very things they were complaining about. And then when they
yeah,
win
but it's
in
Trump.
Court, they go out and complain some more that Donald Trump's not doing what he said
and
he
it's
would
his
do.
fault.
That's like you telling me that you're about to go win a drag race, and then I put sugar in your gas tank, which causes you to lose the race. Then I run around calling you a liar because you didn't do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, it sounds like a Democrat.
Donald Trump told us...
I actually went to Five Below today. Just regular size candy bars there are $2. Regular size candy bar. King size were $3.50. I could not believe that. It's insanity. All right, Eyal Yacobi, breaking Islamists in Paris stormed the Philharmonic Orchestra, igniting smoke bombs and attacking attendants and musicians. What has happened to Europe? This is crazy. This is on June 11th, 2025. Insanity. And then they just get right back to business as if nothing happened. Unbelievable. I mean, I threw out a proposed statistic that in 40 years, France could potentially be an Islamic republic because of the birth replacement rate. Because the average Muslim or Muslim couple in France, they're having over 8 children on average. That is wild. Matt Van Swole, breaking. Western North Carolina hero Jake Jarvis has confirmed he has now worked over 400 days for free, rebuilding homes, roads, and bridges for victims of Hurricane Helene. To this day, Jake has never accepted a penny from anyone who needs help. Absolute legend. I remember Helene. It took down a tree in my backyard. Down here in St. Pete. Where is it? There it is.
Don't know why I do the things I do. Must be I love to light the fuse. Stand back and watch it crash and burn and turn into ash. Just like it ain't nothing. She ain't something I can lose.
Man, what a mess.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't
turtle. Wow, man. It's completely different. Damn, that was awesome. Did all that for free. It's very cool, helping out his community. Turning point action, Erica Kirk is right. America is in the midst of a spiritual battle. That is absolutely true.
This whole room feels it. This whole nation feels the spiritual warfare. But Charlie would say that's how you know you're over the mark. When you feel it, when the enemy is there. That's how you know you're doing the Lord's work. and that's how you know you're defending truth. And that was his true barometer, was when he would feel that spiritual warfare. And I watched him pour every ounce of himself into the students, into raising up the most courageous generation, and inspiring so many people to stand firm in faith and to love this country.
Well, there was an explosion of Turning Point USA applications, like thousands of them after that happened with Charlie Kirk. Yeah, this spiritual battle, it's going to persist for a long time. I don't see the left calming down in any way at all. They're just getting just more psychopathic, more brainwashed, more brain dead. I think if you really want to start clamping down on it, the first thing we got to do is go after all those leftist professors. However, what exactly do you do? I mean, because they're just going to hide behind the First Amendment. Although radicalization, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I'm sure there's answers around somewhere. All right, Candace Owens says, this is from Del Groyup. Candace Owens says, why can't Nick Fuentes have a platform? Why can't he have a conversation? If his ideas suck, then he'll beat in the free market. I don't need Nick Fuentes censored. I don't know why he keeps coming up in the conversation. He must have said a whole bunch of provocative shit over the last few days. I don't really get into the social aspect of politics. I mainly stick with DC swamp related stuff. So I'm assuming he said a whole bunch of crazy shit over the last week or something, because a lot of people are talking about Nick Fuentes over the last week, at least from what it seems.
All we have are these puppets. And I'm including Trump amongst this. He has let his base down, and stop blaming Nick Fuentes, okay? I'm not a Nick Fuentes fan. Why can't Nick Fuentes have a platform? Why can't he have a conversation? Why can't he talk to Dave Smith and Tucker? The free market works like this, by the way, okay? If his ideas suck, then Nick Fuentes will be beaten in the free markets. I don't need Nick Fuentes censored. I need you to actually deliver on your promises so that Nick Fuentes he wouldn't have a platform unless you guys were lying about something, right? Like, you're lying about something where people feel like they're not getting the truth from this person, and they're going and they're listening to more of Nick Fuentes. They sense that you're a liar. And so stop talking to me about this is Nick Fuentes' the grapers, the anonymous frogs, this is their fault. No, this is your fault for not delivering on your promises. And one of those big promises was to protect speech, okay? And we see what you're doing, redefining anti-Semitism on college campuses. Get out of my face. And
there you go. Freedom of speech. I mean, there's an argument to be made there. Cue the storm. Obamacare pumps $40 billion into insurance companies. That's the real reason Democrats shut down the government. They're shielding the insurers, not the American people. DC turned Obamacare into a cash funnel, funding fraud and abortion coverage while your premiums skyrocket. The swamp protects their money machine. President Trump says it's time to give that ACA money back to the people. And we'll take a look at this. Okay, yeah, cue the storm. This is on Fox News.
Taking to Truth Social earlier this morning, writing, quote, I am recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad health care provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that...
Yeah, and by the way, the rate of denial with insurance companies is absolutely insane. I think it's United Healthcare. Their rate of denial is just absolutely crazy. I don't know the exact number. Actually, by the way, hold on. Let me just pause for a second. I forgot to check on this from Charlie Kirk. In Islam, in the verses, are you allowed to lie, allowed to deceive in front of God? In Islam, lying and deception are generally strictly prohibited, considered major sins that lead to hypocrisy and distance one's from righteousness. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes truthfulness as a core virtue, condemning falsehood in various contexts. For instance, Allah says, "Oh, you who have believed, fear Allah and be with those who are true." Quran. Another verse warns that do not mix the false with the true or conceal the true while you know it. The Prophet Muhammad reinforced this in Hadith, stating, all right, hold on. Oh, here we go. Exceptions to the prohibition. While lying is overwhelmingly forbidden, classical Islamic jurisprudence based on authentic hadith permits it in 3 narrow specific circumstances to prevent greater harm, provided the intent is pure and not self-serving. During war or to protect life, deception against an enemy, military strategy is allowed. As the Prophet said, warfare is deceit. To reconcile between people, saying something untrue to mend relationships, like exaggerating praise from one party to another to foster peace. Another one between spouses, gentle words to please or harmonize. husband complimenting his wife cooking to make her happy without major betrayal. His exceptions are derived from a hadith narrated by Kulthum bint Uqba, or Uqba. It's not permissible for a person to tell lies for any reason except in 3 cases: when he is at war or reconciling between people, or a man speaks to his wife or she speaks to him in order to bring about harmony between them. Specifically in front of God, it does not permit lying or deception in front of God. In summary, while limited exceptions exist for worldly harms, truthfulness, especially toward Allah, is non-negotiable in Islamic teachings. Scholars across Sunni and Shia traditions agree on general prohibition, though Shia Islam adds concealment of faith under persecution as a protective measure, not as a license for casual deceit. For deeper study, consult blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it pulled 4 sources: islamqa.info, sunnah.com, myislam.org, and al-islam.org. Not saying this is the quote-unquote gospel truth. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just throwing it out there. That's what AI says. I'm not saying that AI is 100% correct. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying I plugged it in and that's what it gave me. So not saying it either way. You know, that's just what it says. But anyway, yeah. So as far as like the insurance thing goes, yeah, they're taking hundreds of billions of dollars of our tax money, but they're just denying people's healthcare left, right, and center. It's absolutely insanity. So, all right. So I'm assuming they're going to read this, so I don't have to read it.
Much better health care and have
All
money
right, yeah.
left over. In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people, and terminate per dollar spent the worst health care anywhere in the world, Obamacare. Unrelated, we must still terminate the filibuster. Here to react, Oklahoma Senator and GOP Conference Vice Chair James Langford. Senator, thanks for being here. Let me just get your reaction to what President Trump is really putting out on Truth Social.
Yeah, it's one of the key reasons that we have continued to be able to push back on what Chuck Schumer is trying to be able to peddle. He's saying, hey, let's just do a 1-year extension of these Obamacare subsidies. And the general media gets out there and says, that sounds so reasonable. But what they're really saying is send $40 billion straight to insurance companies.
Yeah, so then we can shut down the government, do the exact same thing next year when that 1-year subsidies expires.
Insurance companies that some of them,
because you know that's what they're going to do.
500 and 1,000% increase in their stock just since the time of Obamacare. So they're saying send all this money to insurance companies and it'll be fine. What the Democrats are not saying is,
yeah, so they can deny us all over the place
not
for
to
our
people
coverage
to be able to help. It's only for about 20 million people, the select group that they have picked. It's not the general population line. Most people's insurance rates are going to continue to go up.
That's true,
Democrats are only trying to subsidize a certain
Yeah,
group
why
of
can't
folks.
I get free health care?
It's also funding
It's my tax
directly
money.
towards abortion. And Democrats won't say this. This was their end around to be able
ridiculous.
to fund elective
Abstinence,
abortions
people.
by sending money to insurance company, then allowing the insurance to be able to cover
Or
abortions
34
as well.
forms of birth
So
control
the
besides
dutiful
abortion.
media just continues to be able to say this sounds so reasonable from Chuck Schumer, but the facts belie that.
Well, and so to be fair, we'll let you hear a little bit of, let our viewers hear a little bit of what Chuck Schumer says he's offering. Listen to this, Senator.
Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes health care affordability. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean 1-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR so that we can immediately address rising health care costs. The ball is in the Republicans' court. We need Republicans to just say yes.
Yeah, but as I said in my previous video, $1.5 trillion, what's going on with that? Because there's a lot of Democrat senators who are still insisting that they get $500 million for public broadcasting, they get billions of dollars back into USAID and all that other bullshit that amounts to $1.5 trillion. So, okay, sure, we'll write in the whole 1-year extension. That's not going to please probably 95% of Senate Democrats, so they're just going to vote against it anyway because, well, it doesn't include the $1.5 trillion that we demand.
But, Senator, you say no thanks.
Yeah, I say absolutely no thanks. His
It doesn't
statement,
matter.
just
You can write it in and they're
Republicans
still
come
going to
vote
keep
with
it shut
us.
down.
Fund abortion from federal tax dollars, send billions of dollars to insurance companies, to just a select group of people, not to help everyone in America. Send money to people making up to $500,000 a year. That's what they're subsidies
That's
for.
ridiculous.
And also folks on the lower end of it where they're doing zero premiums there. We've actually...
Yeah, people are getting Obamacare subsidies who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. They're still eligible for those subsidies. It's unbelievably
found
fucked
there's a
up, man.
tremendous
Such
amount of fraud
bullshit.
where
Yeah.
insurance companies are signing up people that don't even know they have the coverage. So Democrats are saying, let's just keep that rolling. That's working good for us. Let's just keep that rolling. I think the
Sure.
American taxpayer is saying, nope, that's not what we're looking for.
And Senator, just in the last few seconds I've got, I do want to get your take on where you stand. Would you support breaking the filibuster, even if in a narrow appropriations lane, to open the government back up?
Yeah, I don't support breaking the filibuster because I've seen up close and personal when Joe Biden would do it. If Donald Trump was president from here on out, that wouldn't be an issue, but it's
Tell
not
you
gonna
what,
be
I don't think they're
forever.
gonna do
I
it.
don't know who's the president 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Once you break it, and I know what Joe Biden would have done with that.
Yeah, but dude, have you not heard the argument though? Like the argument from President Trump, assuming that that Democrats take over the Senate, which I mean, if history shows anything, the pendulum swings from the left to the right, right to the left. So almost as sure as the sun rises, one of these days the Democrats will probably end up retaking the Senate, and if they do, or when they do, they're probably going to nuke the filibuster anyway. Because if what Trump said is true, that Kristen Sinema and the other senator, his name escapes me at the moment, they were the only two that were blocking the Democrats from nuking the filibuster when Biden was in office. But now they're not in the Senate anymore. So if Democrats are to retake the Senate in the future, even if not in 2026, even if it were like 2028 or whenever they do, they're going to nuke the filibuster. So that's the argument that Trump is making.
Senator James Langford, thank you for taking time.
So you might as well get ahead of it.
Too bad. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right, so that was that. Okay. And we're going to move on to Matrix Mysteries. They told me my MRI would be $5,100 with insurance, but only $700 without it. That's happened to me before, and probably a lot of other people out there. When she asked to self-pay, the hospital said, "Since you have insurance, we won't let you." How is that not a scam? Isn't it my choice? Health insurance is a legalized scam. I believe I left a comment on my experience. Yeah, over 10 years ago, I had a CT scan in the ER. They charged $8,000 until they learned I didn't have insurance, then reduced the cost to $1,300. A hospital CT scan only cost the facility about $100 on the high end. The system is rife with greed. And that is absolutely the case. I've done the math. Like a CT machine costs $2-3 million. They use the same CT machine for 10, 15 years, probably longer than that. Average of 25 to 30 patients in the ER go through that CT machine on a daily basis. And if you run those numbers, and if you include the salary of the technician, of the technologist, also the physician that is dictating the report, their findings, when you collect all of that, all those numbers together and you combine it all together, it's not even $100 per CT scan that costs the hospital. It's very little money that it's costing them to run individual patients through a CT machine, but they're still charging up to $8,000, if not more than that. And again, that was a decade ago. They're probably charging like $15,000 now. That wouldn't surprise me. It's absolutely insane.
So I don't normally jump on that health insurance is a scam, but today it is absolutely a scam, and I swear it's fraud.
Oh, it's a big scam.
I need an MRI on my back because I hurt my back. My clinic sent it over to a hospital. They ran it through my insurance. They called me and said, hey, your portion of it that you're going to have to pay after insurance is $5,100 for this MRI. So I'm like, wow, okay. I was like, before we do that, like, just wait, because I'm like, $5,100 just seems wild. I called another place who was also waiting for my insurance to go through to see how much it was going to be. My insurance was still on hold with them, but I asked them, hey, if I just cash pay this, how much is it going to cost for this MRI? And they're like, well, if you just want to cash pay it, not run anything through insurance, it's $700. And so I'm like, sounds a lot better than $5,100.
Ridiculous.
So I called the original hospital back and said, hey, if I don't run this through insurance, what is the cost if I just decide to self-pay it, since I know the other place is $700? The lady's like, I'll rerun it under you being self-pay and I'll call you back with your total. So a few minutes go by, the lady calls me back and she goes, hey, I talked to my supervisor. Since you have insurance, we are not going to let you self-pay it, so we won't give you that number. How is that not a scam? Isn't it my choice if I want to self-pay something versus running it through my insurance?
Well, and if she's on Obamacare, wasn't that part of the whole message with Obamacare? You get a lot more choice in what you do with your medical care, such as you get to choose your doctor. I'm sure they probably suggested that you would be allowed to make decisions like this, that you could just pay out of pocket if you want to. That wouldn't surprise me.
I should get to
Of course,
decide
ain't
that,
happening.
not you, but they're like, nope, since you have insurance and you've already done it that way, we are not going to allow you to self-pay it. And I think that's because they probably were going to give me a self-pay price, kind of like the other place, maybe a $700, maybe up to $1,300.
No, the reason is because the hospital they stand to earn $5,100 from you. They don't want to take $700 from you. They want to take $5,000 from you. That's what it's all
Still
about.
way less than $5,100 that it was going to make me pay. And I just think like,
See, if I was her, and I don't think the insurance company would help her out either, I would call the insurance company and send that paperwork over to them and say, look, they gave me a $700 quote by paying out of pocket, but yet they're going to try to scam y'all $5,100 for an MRI when they said it's only going to cost $700. And I'd leave it in their hands and say, look, you ought to figure this out with the hospital because they're trying to scam your asses.
what if,
Which I'm
you know,
sure they're
somebody
well
wouldn't
aware
have,
of.
like, what if I wouldn't have called around? I would have been stuck with this $5,100 bill. Insurance is such a ripoff. I don't know how in the world this hospital is telling me that I now can't self-pay it. What does it matter? I'm going to go to the other place, but I don't know how this hospital is allowed to now tell me, hey, yeah, you can't self-pay something if you have already had us run it through your insurance. I haven't even had it.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And it sounds like the lesson to take away from that in the future, if you're going into any medical provider, just get the cash price first and don't even tell them you have insurance yet. And if they say, well, what's your insurance? I would just say, well, let's just say I don't have any. So what's the cash price provided I don't have insurance? And then, you know, you could kind of go from there, make the decision from there. But I get what she's saying because there's a lot of insurance. I believe mine included. I have to pay like 40% of all my medical costs out of pocket up to about, I think it's like $8,000 that I have to pay out of pocket before my insurance starts fully covering everything else. So I get what she's saying because if it's $5,100, you know, like in my case, I would have to pay 40% of that. And it's unbelievable. And it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. It's ridiculous. And I don't even know how they're going to fix this, man. It's a freaking nightmare. Truth Hammer forever. The real story is not that a Capitol police officer is the pipe bomber. It's who put her up to it. And how were so many at the highest levels of multiple agencies involved in her cover and her appearance as a witness for the government in a J6 trial. Those things don't happen without a conspiracy behind the scenes. This is why I officially advocate a treason inquiry commission be authorized and the NSA vaults opened. Okay, let's take a look at this.
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
She
Shut up.
liked that answer.
I didn't.
All right. So April, SP Arcs. I can't disagree with him. 50,000 Muslims march in unison chanting, "We await
Muslims
orders."
need to be deported and banned from Western society. Every single last one of them. And if you're going to come into my comments and say, oh, Nathan, that's not very loving and Christian of you, piss off. Unfollow me and piss off. Yes, we're supposed to love everybody. That doesn't mean we're supposed to be stupid and commit suicide. Nobody with 2 functioning brain cells allows an enemy into their home. You don't open your door to somebody that means you harm and say, oh, I'm being loving.
Yeah, tell that to the Biden
you're
administration.
An idiot. Get this through your head, all right? Muslims don't assimilate. Wherever Muslims go, they do not assimilate to the culture or the society that they live in. They have allegiance to only one thing, and that is their own laws, their religious laws. Their religion comes number one, and they are doing everything they can to bring their laws and their customs and overtake ours.
Yep, cling on to the Second Amendment. Brothers, hang on to it for dear life. Although, yes, it is a problem. There are a lot that are immigrating into the U.S., not nearly as bad as what's going on in Europe. Man, God help Europe. I don't even know how the hell they're going to square all that. Although, you know, the big immigration problem that we have for the most part, which we do have immigrants that come here from Asia, from Africa, from all over the world. But the vast majority are Roman Catholics, you know, like practicing Christians, which, you know, could be a lot worse. It could be Europe. So anyway, Kristen Wagoner, my son can't even go on a field trip or take an Advil without my consent. So why do schools think they have the right to transition a child without asking mom and dad? Very good question. Tradition, precedent, and the Constitution are on the side of parents. Yep, because I'm assuming she's probably talking about that law that Gavin Newsom signed in California, which allows the school to do that whatever the transition bullshit. Basically, like if their child wants to transition or wants to be called a girl when he's in fact a boy biologically, that they don't have to tell the parents or some shit like that. I can't believe anybody even lives in California anymore.
My 17-year-old boy
Like
needs
Sodom
to
and
get
Gomorrah.
my consent from the school before he goes even to a pumpkin patch or takes a pill that's an Advil. And that's because I am the parent and the school recognizes that. And yet we are willing to disrupt the parental relationship. A school official thinks that it has that kind of authority. That is not constitutional, and it doesn't serve a compelling interest, nor is it narrow-tailored.
So you're suggesting that the Constitution demands the permission for the pumpkin patch?
I'm suggesting that that practice in and of itself, which is, I mean, we can, every time they play a sport, I mean, all the different ways that this plays out all through adolescence is a reflection of what the common law has been and what the American tradition is, and is a constitutional right under the fundamental right. I have the right to direct my child's education and my child's upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's got a valid argument there. I don't know what the left are going to say. Well, the child has constitutional rights too, because the Constitution doesn't say that at 18 years old, your constitutional rights start. All right, anyway, Mila Joy. In 2006, Tucker Carlson and Rachel Maddow could have a civil conversation. Imagine that. Yeah, man, times have changed.
Okay, let's
Changed
assume
a
the
lot.
Democrats will control Congress in November, and it certainly looks that way now. Here to help us ponder that terrifying probability, our old pal from Air America Radio, Rachel Maddow, joining us from New York.
Hi, Tucker.
Rachel.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you. What's the first thing,
Wow, she
apart
actually
from
didn't
nationalizing the
used to
railroads
look
and passing
horrific.
the transgender amendment, Democrats are going to do when they take power?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to get to right away. We have to make everybody get gay married, and we have to ban the Bible, and we have to send you to Guantanamo. After we, get rid of the first tier order of business.
Okay, I guess. I mean, it wasn't really, all that cordial. I mean, she was saying some brutal shit in between laughter. All right, Carter Hughes. Holy cow, Elon Musk has announced his support for Warren Buffett's plan to eliminate the deficit in 5 minutes. I like this idea. Just pass a law that says anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. Do you support this? Yeah,
These
I would.
problems are problems that have built up over decades, and there hasn't been a Congress that's been mature enough or a president that's been mature enough to take this head on.
I could end the deficit in 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election. Yeah. Now you've got the incentives in the right place, right? So it's capable of being done. And they're trying to use the incentive now that we're going to blow your brains out, America, in terms of your debt worthiness over time, and that's being used as a threat. A more effective threat would be just to say, if you guys can't get it done, we'll get some other guys to get it done.
Amen, dude. Amen. All right. Oh, what a great statement. Enrique Tarrio from the Proud Boys. What the Canadian government did to these poor birds and Katie Pasitny is disgusting. There should be severe sanctions on the Canadian government. So if you've been following this in British Columbia with the 300 ostriches, I think there were 300, the Canadian government, they actually killed them all. They did that it appears that they did it yesterday. But yeah, they did. They actually rounded them up and they slaughtered them one by one. And it's over. So yeah, pretty scary, man. And the reason that the Canadian government gave was they believed, without any evidence, that these birds were at a high risk of contracting avian flu, even though this farm appears to be extremely isolated. And also, none of these birds had avian flu, according to the owners. Yeah, so I assume the Canadian government's not going to clean up what they did. Obviously not. So I don't even know what they're going to be able to do. I know they've been fighting this for a long time. And it ultimately didn't get them anywhere. It happened. So there it is. So that's the rest of the video. They just zoom in and they just show. Oh, here, hold on. Actually, I didn't expect them to narrate.
That's your Canadian government right there that just did this. I went to Bosnia, Somalia, and Afghanistan. And I did not fucking serve my country for this bullshit that's fucking in front of us, right? The government has committed their own fucking atrocity, this Canadian government, right?
Yeah, where's all the PETA activists? Where's all the animal rights activists? Where are they? Look, to be fair, I don't know. Maybe they were there. Maybe they are involved. And maybe they are pushing back against the government. However, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they just conveniently didn't. What are you talking about? I didn't hear anything about that. Rip Cord, why is Dan Scavino wearing a U.S. Marshal hat? Watch below.
For the president to ask me to take this additional job on. PPO is responsible for vetting, interviewing, and bringing in candidates, political appointees, to all these agencies throughout the government. And something that we really want to keep an eye on, which has been done, is bringing people with the values of the president that want to complete his agenda, making America great again, America First policies. I work very closely with all of the cabinet members, or I will be working very closely. So the communication you have with the cabinet members is very important in staffing up their agencies with political appointees. PPO also oversees ambassador appointments all around the world. So we have those to fulfill. We're also responsible for U.S. Marshals and fulfilling those obligations all around the country. Work very closely with the DOJ on that front. So, as I said, I'm learning every day that passes. I'm a quick learner, and I've hit the ground running.
Okay, there you go. Record, check out Dan Scavino's hat in this picture. United States Marshal. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yep, U.S. Marshals, I'm assuming. And November 8th. I mean, they don't have a date stamp on the image itself, but there you go. United States Marshal, I guess. Lieutenant Colonel P, VP Corporal Vance didn't miss at the Marine Corps birthday ball. The most important war-fighting tech isn't a jet, a drone, or AI. It's a United States Marine. 250 years later, we're still the gold standard. Happy birthday, Marines.
We've got all this incredible technology. And of course, the United States is the most significant leader of technology in the world. But I happen to believe that the most important warfighting technology is not a new airplane. The most important warfighting technology is not artificial intelligence or anything on a computer. The most important warfighting technology is a well-trained and well-armed United States Marine, and we won't forget it. We've got all this.
I would agree with that. All right, Salma Sima. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A brave man, despite the injury in his forearm, kicks 5 Hamas supporter terrorists out of the room to keep Jewish students safe in Toronto Metropolitan University. One brave man who stands on his moral principles is worth thousands of anti-Semite, useless Toronto police officers. Hats off to this brave man. P.S. A mob of masked terrorists, members of Students for Justice in Palestine, violently attacked a private event near Toronto Metropolitan University, breaking a glass door and causing visible injuries to one of the invited speakers at an educational program hosted by the campus SSI, the Students Supporting Israel chapter. Damn, he's pushing them all out. Oh, shit. He's just grabbing them, snatching them one by one. Dwarf tossing their asses the fuck out of there.
Now, block in. I need these over here.
Wow, man. Dude took care of business.
Do you feel it was the event that was targeted, or were you targeted personally?
I think it was both. I was targeted as a Jew.
Wow, man, that was crazy. That dude really handled business. All right, yes, I am that bitch. Replying to Halal Nation, stop calling me a Muslim, you slave of Satan. And let's see what they were replying to. Maybe I meant to grab, hold on. Jesus was a Muslim. No, he was a Jew. He was Jewish. You idiot. All right, Just Gen RX. A culture that marries off a 15-year-old to a 50-year-old doesn't belong here. Not sorry. I think I've played this on one of my episodes before. It was a little while ago, so that's interesting to see this is still circulating.
Nothing irrational about fearing a culture that does not respect or tolerate Western civilization. I hear so many leftists throw around Islamophobia. That's a made-up term, okay? There's nothing irrational.
They love saying that word.
An irrational fear is the definition of phobia. There's nothing irrational,
especially if you're gay and you say you're an Islamophobe,
and its culture and its values and its beliefs and its behaviors, and saying this is a problem. I'm scared of this. Islam is not just a religion. It is a lifestyle. And their main goal is to eradicate Western civilization. And Democrats are letting it happen.
Oh, look what happened to Iran.
All over the planet. Look at the UK, for example. In the year 2000, in England and Wales, 7,000 reported grapes. In the year 2024, 71,000. And those are just the ones that are reported. What changed in that time? Oh, I wonder. That is an 800% increase. And y'all don't see that as a problem. Women are scared to walk the streets of the UK right now, and you won't listen to them when they talk about it. You call them racist. It's the truth. They're afraid because these men do not respect women. It's in their culture. Islam doesn't even see grape as a crime.
Well, these liberal women keep voting for these politicians that allow this shit.
In this culture, you have to have 2 men witnesses that will testify that it happened. Otherwise, the woman gets punished. The UK and now America are sacrificing their wives and daughters for diversity credit. And it's not phobic to say that, because that's what's happening. Every single area that has welcomed a mass migration has been objectively destroyed in Europe. Every single one. Go look for yourselves. And instead of seeing that and saying, there might be a common pattern, you just call people racist for talking about it. You took a massive culture that hates women, hates children, hates gays, hates white people, hates America, hates Western civilization, brought them into Western civilization and said, hey, maybe because now that they're on different soil, they'll change their behavior. They'll change their moral compass.
I don't even think they expected that.
Because they moved somewhere else.
I think they just want to burn everything down.
They're bringing it with them. And of course they are.
And by they, I mean the elites.
There have been so many studies done back in the old days before the media today buried them. But in the early 2000s, late 90s, so many studies from educational peer-reviewed places, Harvard University, Yale, all of these different spots that have some of the world's best research, right? Educational research, have done studies on mass diversity, mega diversity in communities.
Oh, I'm sure they're cherry picking the shit out of everything today. I mean, they've absolutely ruined the education system. It is just absolutely ruined. Austin Caps kick Islam out of our country. There's a lot of Islam stuff circulating around too. There's like Nick Fuentes and a lot of Islamic stuff going around over the past week. So I'm sure there's probably a very good reason for it. They stormed a pro-Israel event on a campus in Canada. Okay, so we already saw that. So I'll just move on past that one. So watch Syria's new ISIS president, Abu Muhammad al-Julani, an Islamic terrorist who was wanted by the U.S. government for a $110 million bounty until May of 2025, just arrived in the U.S. for his November 10th meeting with President Trump at the White House. Oh my God, Laura Loomer, good grief. I traveled to the Syrian border this week where I met with and interviewed members of the Druze community who have been impacted by Giuliani's, where did it go? Giuliani's Islamic-inspired mass killings and kidnappings on the Syrian border in Majdal Shams. I've documented the truth about Giuliani and his continued Islamic persecution of religious minorities, including the Druze, Christians, and Alawites. I was shown horrific videos of photos of recent murders and rapes of Druze people committed by Giuliani's forces, particularly in Suwaida, the capital of the predominantly Druze al-Suwaida governorate in southern Syria. Home to the country's largest Druze community. President Trump, please demand that Giuliani stop committing mass murder of non-Muslims in Syria. Our U.S. tax dollars were just sent to Syria on October 27th to provide life-saving humanitarian aid for the Druze and Christians in Syria. We wouldn't be needing to send that aid to Syria if Giuliani and his ISIS insurgents stopping committing acts of Islamic terror against non-Muslims living under Giuliani's regime. U.S. officials cannot shake hands with a jihadist terrorist in the Oval Office as a genocide against the Druze is happening before our eyes. The time for moral clarity and action is now. The United States of America must stand up against Islamic terrorism and force Giuliani to stop committing and orchestrating acts of Islamic terrorism against innocent people.
Hi, everybody. Laura Loomer here. I'm currently in Israel in the Golan Heights in Majdal Sham, meeting with members of the Druze community. You may have seen in the news over the last 9 months that since the war between Israel and Hamas, there's been a lot of violence perpetuated against the Druze, especially brutality that is being committed by Jolani, who is the new president of Syria. Formerly a wanted ISIS terrorist, the leader of HTS, who was wanted by the United States State Department for a bounty of $10 million until President Trump met with him in Saudi Arabia on his visit to the Middle East in May of this year. I wanted to take some time to travel to Israel to meet with members of the Druze community to highlight some of the brutality and violence that their community has been subjected to since the war broke out after October 7th and the continued violence at the hands of Jolani. And so I'm here today in Majd al-Sham with two of the parents of the children. If you may have recalled that last year in July of 2024, 12 children were struck by a rocket when they were playing in a soccer field here in the Golan Heights, a rocket that came from Hezbollah. Their children tragically passed away. Since then, their community continues to still be ravaged by violence, and I wanted to provide them this opportunity to speak to the world and to speak to President Trump. I'm so sorry about the loss of your young children.
פג'ר היה בן 15 וחצי, היה במגרש ב-27 ליולי, רצו רק לשחק כדורגל.
27 ליולי איבדתי את הבת שלי במגרש כדורגל כתוצאה מפעילות ארגון טרור. כמו ג'ולני בדיוק עכשיו, שהוא נמצא בסוריה, בעיניים שלי, ואני מגדיר אותו שהוא מנהיג ארגון טרור, לא ראש ממשלה בסוריה.
Do you see a difference between the terrorists in Hezbollah and the terrorist leadership of Syria under Jolani, the same terrorists who killed members of your community nearly 70 kilometers from here?
טרור זה טרור בכל העולם, זה אותו דבר, אין הבדל, רק מתחלפים השמות. מי שהורג ילדים שמשחקים בכדורגל, זה לא בן אדם, פשוט.
מה שעשה ג'ולני בסווידה זה טרור מוחלט. מי ששורף ילדים, אונס בנות, הורג נשים, הורג אזרחים, זה בעיניים שלנו, זה ארגון טרור לכל דבר. אנחנו לא נשכח ולא נסלח למה שעשה בעם העלווי בסוריה, גם בנוצרים שביצץ את הכנסייה בזמן שאנשים מתפללים, אנחנו לא נשכח אותו, זה בשבילנו טרור לכל דבר. בן אדם כזה שהוא איש דת קיצוני, זה כמו חמאס בדיוק.
What would you like President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio to do? What would you like them to tell Jolani?
שלא יתמוך בג'ולני, אם ייתן לעם שימצא נשיא מתאים לעם בסוריה.
איש כזה שיורד על האדמה במדינה הכי גדולה בעולם והכי חזקה, צריך ללכת לכלא, לא לשבת בשום מקום.
Well, yeah, and that's absolutely crazy that they had a $10 million bounty on him at some point, and now he's the president of Syria, and the U.S. government is backing him now, inviting him to the White House. That's a bit crazy. So if you want to check out the rest of that, I'll repost that link to my profiles in the description below, or you could just go straight to Laura Loomer at Laura Loomer, and it'll be there. Let me see if I can get the time. When was that posted? It was yesterday, or no, that was today. No, yesterday. Forgot what day it was. Yeah, it was posted yesterday at 9:39 p.m. So, you know, if you're familiar with the X platform, especially people like Laura Loomer, they're posting all throughout the day, so it helps find it quicker if you knew exactly when it was posted. All right, so Farm Girl Carrie, a warning about radical Islam from the former king of Iran, HRH Reza Pahlavi. This is very important info here, recommending a bookmark.
Western civilization, and the United States in particular, is at risk. I say this because this is exactly what happened to my country 45 years ago. Iran, you might say, was the testing grounds for what my late father called the unholy alliance of the red and the black, radical Marxism and radical Islamism. These two ideologies converged not to create, but to destroy. Indeed, to destroy the very notion of Iran. As the Ayatollah Khomeini himself, upon his return to Iran, said, "Patriots are of no use to us. We need Muslims. Islam is opposed to nationalism, because nationalism means we want a nation, nationhood, and not Islam." He quickly put his ideology into action. our National Consultative Assembly became the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Our conventional National Army was shunned in favor of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The lion and sun symbol, which adorned our national flag for centuries, was replaced with Allahu Akbar. This united front of Marxists and Islamists took hold of my homeland, but was never satisfied with just taking over Iran, as these two ideologies do not believe in the concept, much less the border of a nation. Indeed, the Islamic Republic in Iran does not view itself as defending or limited to the borders of the Millat, or the Iranian nation, but rather the Ummat, or the Islamic Brotherhood. This expansion has gone far beyond the Middle East. Every day, we see graphic, distressing images of the consequences this regime's expansion has brought, all the way to Europe and the West. From looting universities that were once the envy of the world, to supporting terrorist cells taking hold in Europe, to attempting to annihilate Israel, to expanding its criminal footprint to Latin America. This is not an accident. This is the Islamic Republic's political strategy.
Well, there you go. That was quite informative. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Karma is a really pissed off bitch. And the government shutdown is permanent, just so you know. Is that all we got? Was that it? All right, whatever. I'll move on from that. But yeah, permanent. Not sure about forever permanent, but I think it's going to go on for months. The greatest of all time from Donaldo Trumpo, First Lady.
American dreamers and innovators who embrace originality. Let's embrace the spirit of ambition. Let's celebrate everyone who dares to think differently, for it is these courageous Americans who are the heartbeat of our civilization. Trust me, I know a little bit about challenging convention. Patriotism in our country dates back to our rebellious founders who raged against British rule, seeking independence from the crown. They all defied expectations, politically and intellectually. Each shared a common trait. They reinvented how things work. We all have an image of Benjamin Franklin flying his kite in a lightning storm, the original innovator in science and technology. Thomas Jefferson pioneered architecture and design. Hamilton, our banking system. Each built an extraordinary life, and in doing so, built a stronger America. Their personal ambition became a public good, benefiting us all. We see it again and again. Personal achievement fuels collective progress. When someone creates from conviction a song, a movement, an idea, it ripples outward, uniting our people. Daring to chase your dream is the American way. Innovation isn't accidental here, it's in our DNA. In this country, innovation is a form of patriotism. But most innovators know it's lonely when you are close to the edge of imagination, when you have a deep belief in your own power to create the new results. This is exactly where the real change begins. American ingenuity built Silicon Valley, landed humans on the moon, and powered every industrial leap forward, from our winding railroads to artificial intelligence. Our great capital markets fuel development, and every day we celebrate our cultural disruptors, from music to art, and my new favorite frontier, the silver screen.
All right. So I'll cut it there. Same thing. I'll repost it if you want to check out the rest of it, since it goes a bit long. And it was her acceptance speech during the Patriot Award. She got the Patriot of the Year award. And moving on to Vincent Kennedy. Didn't hear about this on the news. What would this be?
I want to read to you a message that the Hamas released yesterday. The speaker of the Hamas: we are willing to reveal all the Zionists that cooperated with us on October 7 and helped us with this attack. We want in return 60 days of rest. The report of how many people from within government and command helped us to attack Israel, the land in Israel will shake like an earthquake. The biggest enemies.
Look, that was a question a lot of people had when that first happened. How were they allowed to just slaughter 1,200 people, just be able to just freely cross into Israel and commit the atrocities that they did without getting any help? So I think that was definitely a suspicion from day one.
The Jewish nation is not enemies from outside, is enemies from within. These Erev Rav, who control everything in Israel, cooperate with the enemies, hating Judaism, hating the religion. If you follow Israeli news, you're not going to believe what's happening. The Attorney General of the Israeli army, an extreme lefty woman, she's in the highest rank. The next rank above her is the chief of command. She could be in charge of the entire army. What happened with this trader? She took the car, they were coming to arrest her. But the other Attorney General, the national one, who was even worse than her, there's nobody she hates more than Hashem and the religious people, she on purpose did not sign the arrest to investigate her, to give her a few hours that she can hide the evidence. And she went to some beach in Israel and threw her cell phone into the water. Hours, and she faked that she committed suicide. She left her car with a note.
What?
And everybody was looking for a body everywhere, to give her enough time to hide everything she needed to hide. Because in her phone, there is information about all the lefty traders that cooperate with the enemies in Israel. They're all connected to each other. So they made already
that's
few
buried
arrests.
in the internet somewhere.
What's going to happen in the next few days?
They had to
You're going to
communicate
see
through
dozens
the internet
of spies and enemies that are in the highest position of power in Israel that are helping the enemies to destroy us. Forget about that they fight the yeshivot and they torture all the bachurei yeshivot. For years they do it. Of course, that's a part of what they hate. But literally cooperating with the enemies.
Yikes, dude, that's wild. No, that's the first time I'm hearing about any of that. That's crazy. All right, congratulations, Owen Schroyer. You are the winner. Winner of what?
I think we need to start a new segment called My Nigga of the Week. And this week, my nigga of the week is my nigga, Owen Schroyer. Check this clip out.
Owen
MAGA
Schroyer.
is dead. MEGA is here. Join the team. Give it up, America. Give it up. You lost. Israel won. So you'll probably get more strikes on Iran. You'll probably get more foreign aid for Israel before you get a single deep state arrest. Before you get any significant or meaningful Doge cuts or any audits. Before you take care of your own debt. Before you take care of your own economy, Israel will get more money, more military support, because that's who runs the show. So get on the winning team. Come on, guys. That's what it's all about, right? I mean, that's the new MAGA. You guys weren't supporting Donald Trump in 2015 and 2016. You didn't start supporting him till after he won. So you guys are all just joining the winning team. You're all just joining the bandwagon. That's what MAGA's all about, right? So I'm in. I'm on the team now. I am now MEGA.
MEGA?
And I got to say, the updates, the upgrades to my wardrobe with this hat, the Schmeatrel, already been worth it. Just the hat, just the power of the hat alone. And now I can bully you and pressure you and bend you to my will. And then I'll character assassinate you and torment you and gaslight you and steal and co-opt your entire movement and your money. Feels good, man. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Just waiting for those checks to start coming in, baby. It's the only way to make it in the economy right now, guys. How can you blame us? What else are we supposed to do? I got bills to pay. There's no work out there for an American. There's no work out there for a conservative in the media. We're broke. The only thing we can do is take the shekels. We got families to feed, damn it. We got mortgages. We got credit card debt. We got student loans. We should be thanking Israel. They're bailing us out. They're cutting us checks. And all we have to do is pledge loyalty to a foreign country. And all you have to do is admit that you're a second-class citizen because you're not God's chosen people. That's it. That's all you got to do. Sacrifice your humanity. Sacrifice your soul. Sacrifice your integrity. And most of all, sacrifice your country. Be a real patriot. You don't have any other choice. You're broke. You're desperate. You have nothing. You don't even have a political movement anymore. Put on the Shmitral. Join us. And the checks will start coming.
Bro, I want that MEGA money. You let me know where I sign up, bro, and I am in. MEGA, baby. I want in, Owen. But I got a pretty big head, man. Let me know if you can give me one of those in my size.
All right, so that's what Owen Schwarrier's up to these days. I haven't seen Owen Schwarrier in a while. I knew he signed up with Alex Jones InfoWars. Like, that was probably 10 years ago at this point. That was a long time ago. I used to enjoy watching Owen Schwarrier on YouTube when he was going to different college campuses and, being a provocateur with the most expensive megaphone that money could buy with the big MAGA sticker slapped on the side of it. It was good times, man. That really sucks that YouTube purged all of that. All right, Lucas Gage, every single hoax. Breaking: the swastika sign found in New York after Mamdani's election was painted by an Orthodox Jew. What? Is that actually true, or was he just dressed up as one? All right, well, that's the dude that's spray painting the swastikas. I mean, that's made its way around in the news over the last couple days, which I remember talking about. I think it was on Friday that I mentioned that. Or it actually could have been on Thursday, actually, possibly. Or maybe even on Wednesday, because Mamdani won, and then all of a sudden swastikas started showing up. But yeah, I mean, that's not definitive proof that the dude's an Orthodox Jew. It's just some guy, at the minimum, some guy who's dressed up as an Orthodox Jew. Anyway, Ayel Yacobi, breaking: new footage from Toronto shows a mob of Islamists attempt to break into a building, assaulting police officers and smashing windows. Look at this. Look at the chaos the West has imported.
As soon as I came into the speaking area, we were attacked by 5 individuals that came from a group of 40 protesters that were waiting for us outside. They broke in.
Yeah, we already got that.
We need more men.
It got a very aggressive. One of the IDF soldiers
Good grief, Canada.
was protecting us.
This is what low IQ voters get you.
Doors so more pro-Hamas individuals wouldn't be able to access the building and wouldn't be able to hurt us or attack us.
He said, I have nothing to do with this. What the hell are you doing to me?
One of the pro-Hamas individuals used a weapon to break down the glass of the door and to gain access to a space that was supposed to be a safe space for students.
safe spaces.
I was shaking.
Well, that was your first mistake.
I called the police.
These progressive leftists, they don't care about all that. They just pretend
We
they
felt
do.
very scared. Many people were hurt. A couple people were hospitalized and frightened.
And what's the Canadian government doing? They're murdering hostages. That's what they're doing. They're letting all this shit persist and just fester. Dude, that was absolutely wild. That dude just like threw every fucking one of them out. It was amazing. It just goes to show how weak these assholes are.
Now, block in, block in. I need these over here.
Do you feel like it was the event that was targeted, or were you targeted first?
I think so. I was targeted as a Jew, as an Israeli. I think the event was targeted for being supportive of the state of Israel.
No one could stop me. No one could stop us from being pro-Israel students. As much as they try to silence us, no one can stop pro-Israel students anywhere in the world and on our campuses.
Well, and I'm sure the Canadian government's doing nothing about it. I mean, at least with the help of the Trump administration, we had some Ivy League schools. I know UC Berkeley was one. I believe Yale might have been another one. Harvard, I think, was another. They were sued and agreed to pay settlements in like the 9 digits, like over $100 million that they settled because of Israeli students or Jewish students were being relentlessly harassed on campus, and the campuses at the time did nothing to help them. Anyway, even in Philadelphia, Radio Genoa, this is...
Phillyite always eats.
See what I'm talking about? Like, all this Muslim stuff is just going... It's all over the internet this weekend.
This is so beautiful.
Very strange. Happening in Philly. Okay. Ian Carroll, this might be the funniest Nick Fuentes clip I've ever seen and the biggest self-owned by Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro in years. I dare you not to laugh. And it's got 19,000 likes.
But...
Oh, dude, 7 minutes. Man, what's up with all these long-ass clips, man?
It gets way better than just this part.
A video game where you shoot people, and he's pretending
I'll
that
play a
this
minute or so.
character in the
I'll repost
video
if you want to watch it on your
is
own time.
Ben, let's watch.
Nick is literally live streaming Grand Theft Auto like 6 years ago.
That's funny.
That's what they're showing on screen?
Oh, that's funny. Man, that makes me laugh and laugh. That's a funny one.
Dude, I don't even want to begin to know how many
What a
people that I've
chance
killed in
encounter that
GTA.
was. I think I just saw Ben
Your average
Shapiro.
GTA player's killed like thousands of people.
Have these guys, I mean, obviously, they have never been in a Call of Duty chat room. These guys have obviously...
Did they seriously
don't
play that
have
on
kids,
screen?
Or they're not paying very good attention to them. Because A, that was the tamest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. B, he wasn't actually referring to the guy.
Yeah, dude, go down to the Venice Beach, that boardwalk area down in GTA 5. Like, just in one drive, you can mow down like 200
He
freaking
was
people.
shooting as Ben Shapiro. He was making a running joke. And if you had any context other than your out of context clip, you would find one of the funniest fucking clips on the internet today. Check this out. This is pure gold. And oh my God. Let's just remember, it's been 10 years since Ben Shapiro, rather than debating Nick Fuentes, tried to cancel him. Had whole organizations gang up on him, had him debanked, had him put on the no-fly list, had him kicked off of all the platforms, everything they could possibly try, except sitting down and out thinking him in the open markets with your ideas. Ben Shapiro is still a fucking pussy, too scared to debate Nick Fuentes to this day.
That is
And
surprising.
he could do it anytime he
I don't
wanted.
know anything about
He could
that.
do it right now.
That's surprising.
Nick Fuentes just re-offered the challenge
If
just the other
true.
night.
I mean, this dude could be full of shit for all I know.
It would be the most watched debate in probably the whole decade.
Oh, it probably
like
would.
Overnight.
I've heard of Nick Fuentes. I've not watched his shit, but
single-handedly
I've heard of
bring
him.
the Israeli Wire back from bankruptcy. Ben could get a new mansion. But oy vey, that would be very dangerous to do. That would be very bad to do.
You know, that actually kind of raises an interesting thought that if they were to pay-per-view massive like high-level debates like that, which I think like most of the people who are like in the class of debating, they're of like the free expression of ideas, and they wouldn't want to necessarily put it behind a paywall. Not to say that nobody does. I'm sure there's probably been debates in the past where you have to actually subscribe to something or you have to pay for something in order to see it or whatever. Anyway, I'll repost that and I'll just move on to the next thing. Actually, this is the last thing I got. How long? Okay. Yeah, I've been going on about an hour and a half. That's about how long these video nights usually last. Breaking 911, Ilan Omar says she doesn't mind being deported. I'm grown. I could live wherever. All right. Well, don't mind if we do.
No worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like I can go live wherever I want.
All right. She can go live wherever she wants. All right. Whatever. So anyway, that's all I got. Video night. This one was honestly kind of boring, to be honest. I mean, like the other video nights I've done, they were like a lot more videos were funny, but I did the same as I always do when I just collect the videos. I just scroll for a few hours and I just grab what's in front of me that looks like it's worth showing or looking at. And so, yeah, this one, I don't know, in my opinion, it was kind of a dud, but I mean, there were some good ones in here. Although I think maybe for the next video night I do, I'm going to try to maybe go a little bit out of my way to try to find things that are a bit more fun, more witty, more interesting, more, I don't know, enjoyable, I guess, like in the fun sense. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please give the video a like if you have a chance and consider subscribing to the channel. I do The Swamp Monday through Friday, covering the DC swamp and the bureaucrats and the politicians and everybody else that's in DC. So I'll be back with the next one tomorrow, and it'll be posting at 11 o'clock p.m. at the latest. So I hope to see you over there. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night.